With Matthew Duss. He's the Executive Vice President at the Center for International Policy and joins us live from Washington. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us on the program. As we've mentioned, there's a lot of cautious optimism. One, because we're still waiting to hear from the Israeli cabinet on the deal. In the meantime, Israel's still attacking Gaza, and there are a lot of questions being raised on the process after all of the captives are released. How will the guarantors of this deal ensure that it holds and Israel doesn't continue the war after retrieving the hostages?
Yeah, I think there is one guarantor who matters the most, and that is President Donald Trump. It's clear that Trump's pressure on Netanyahu is what produced this agreement. He applied a level of pressure on Netanyahu to agree that President Biden, unfortunately, was not willing to apply. But that is what we've seen here. And the question now is whether Trump is willing to sustain that pressure, not only to kind of fulfill the phase one part of this agreement, but to move past phase one into the other parts of the 20-point plan that Trump released last week.
How important do you think it is for Trump to sustain the entirety of this peace plan?
I think it's very important. Obviously, I and many obvious people in Gaza and Israel and Palestine are overjoyed that this ceasefire seems to be happening. Phase one is very important. Releasing the hostages, releasing the Palestinian prisoners, getting aid into Gaza is all extremely important. But the bigger picture is also important as we get into the next phases of the agreement, reconstructing Gaza, creating an authority in Gaza, disarming Hamas, and creating a future for the Palestinian people. Ultimately, that is the only way to create real and durable security for Palestinians, Israelis, and the region, is to give the Palestinians their liberation, their self-determination, and allow them to determine their own future. And I do see some signs in the plan that Trump released last week, even though it was very unspecific about this. There was at least some indication that Trump is supportive of this. We should all be very glad that he has backed away from his previous plan to expel Gaza's residents. He recognizes now that Gaza's Palestinians have a right to stay where they are, and they have a right to reconstruct Gaza and to live there. But it will take, I think, real pressure, sustained pressure from the United States on the Israeli government to achieve that.
What about the legislative body that's supposed to govern Gaza? What could we expect that body to look like, and who do you think will take part in that force?
Right. I mean, I think the main concern from Israel and from others is that Hamas not play a role in the governance of Gaza going forward. And frankly, I think that's reasonable. But I think the problem is, is this a continuation of Israeli occupation under another name? Ultimately, as I said, the only way to achieve real security, durable security, is for Palestinians to govern themselves. So even if we have a transitional non-Israeli governing body led by other Arab states with the support of the international community, ultimately we need to be thinking and talking about how we transition this governance to Palestinian leadership, the Palestinian Authority, but especially a governing body that is of, by, and for Gaza's Palestinians.
When we look at the timeline of this latest negotiating process, it seems like it happened a lot quicker than what we've seen happen before. What do you think it is that changed this time around that got this deal through?
Well, I think this deal has been on the table for a long time. As negotiators have been writing over these past couple of days, a deal very much like this one was on the table over a year ago. Hamas was willing to agree to it, and it was Netanyahu who refused. And Netanyahu has, of course, been the one who has undermined and torpedoed and refused various ceasefire agreements all along. He has understood that sustaining and prolonging this war is necessary for his own political survival. But again, I think the fact that Donald Trump has now put his name on this deal He has now invested in supporting this deal. He wants to see it succeed. I think the question is, how much does Donald Trump understand that his legacy is now bound up with the long-term success of this agreement? I very much hope he understands that, because he is the key player here.
The Executive Vice President at the Center for International Policy, Matthew Duss. I appreciate your analysis. Thank you so much.
Thank you.